Hey there, it's Mimi again with the General Manager of Antelope Valley Ford Lincoln, Doug Killebrew. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey, good. Hey, we're going to get back at it with service.
Okay.
First things first, why are you guys so expensive? You guys, why?
Okay. All right, out of the gate, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
Money?
Yes. I don't even think I have any shot at denying the dealerships, the manufactured dealerships, are the most expensive. There's a reason for that, and customers may not quite understand it, and I'll do my best to try to see if I can't explain it. They're the most expensive because it costs the most to do what we do, right? The amount of money and the time it takes to get a technician trained up into, I mean, it takes years and years and years, sometimes more than 10, 12, 15 years to get a guy from a lube technician, which is basically changing oil, teaching them into brakes, and getting them up through that to where he's a specialist. It takes a lot of money to go to college and to go to school to become a doctor, and to go up through that thing before, and doctors aren't cheap, especially when you get to a specialist. We are all specialists here. The technicians are specialists in different categories. There's a lot of complexity that the Ford and Lincoln, if you think back onto all the different cars, SUVs, crossovers, trucks that have been built just in the last 10 years, different transmissions, different motors, all those things all add a lot of complexity. That's a big part of it. The other part is expense that we have to have a center like this. It isn't cheap to have 38 lifts, and not to mention the I think over 50 stalls that we have in the dealership to the amount of tooling that it takes, the specialty tooling. I'll give you another one. The regulation from California in this state is the most in any state. So we're regulated by the Bureau of Automotive Repairs. We have to do what they tell us to do. We have to speak in the way that they tell us to speak. We have to diagnose in the way that they tell us to diagnose. That there's a lot of complexity that adds up into how the charge has to come back. And at the end of the day, we're a business. We do have to make money. I know nobody wants to hear that, but at the end of the day, we do have to figure out how to turn a profit so that we can be here to do the repairs.
But how about, the problem of what do you do with your service employees when they can't find a problem? I mean, what do you do when there's a no fix, oh, we can't do that? I mean, what do you do about situations like that?
Okay,
so you say that you have specialty, they get this training. What do you guys do about that? I mean, find the problem.
So you're talking about no problem found,
yeah.
Where I brought my car in.
You brought your car in, and you guys can't figure out what the problem is.
Got it.
What do you guys do about that?
So there are intermittent problems from time to time that the technician who is a specialist is going to try to find. The good news is, years ago, it was all up to him on his shoulders to do that many years ago. In today's world, we actually have a much better communication with the manufacturer on how to find that problem. There's a tech line where they can dive into right at their computer. Each of them have computers now where they didn't used to. There's a hotline that we have to, contrary to popular belief, the technician doesn't just take a car and it's on him to figure out what to do. There's a process that the manufacturer gives us on how everything is to be repaired. We don't just Google up on YouTube the solution and take some electrical tape out and duct tape it and away you go. We actually have to repair things in a certain manner. We don't operate like maybe a smaller independent shop. They don't have the same regulations that we do on how to repair. Our repairs have to last for years. We have to stand behind that. It just can't be well, I guess that didn't work, we'll try something else. So they go through a lot of different things to try to find out what that is. The number one thing, if you're a consumer out there, the number one thing you're trying to figure out, you know, if I'm taking it in, what's the best chance I have? What I can tell you is get the advisor, figure out how to duplicate that problem. Getting the problem to occur so that we can acknowledge that is everything when you're writing up the vehicle in the service.
What about communication with the advisor? I mean, how hard is it for you guys to pick up the phone, give me a call back? I mean, we got time. I need to get my car fixed. What do you guys do? How do you guys better your communication with your customers?
Well, that's an excellent point. And with all the technology that we have in the world, with all the ability that we have to streamline the process of getting the car in and all that, it does come back to very basic communication, following up with the customer. That comes down to us training the technician, not the technicians, but the advisors to be able to do that. And I'll tell you, it's an ongoing, I don't want to say a battle, but it's something that we've worked hard on to improve.
Well, what technologies are you using to improve it?
Well, we have 1,600 calls a week coming into the dealership. The majority of those are service, and so getting back to the customers is challenging. What we've done to improve that is we've streamlined what we can look at on a daily basis by scheduling what we can look at each day, instead of bringing in cars by the masses, getting out some of them, and not getting back to everyone else. So we have had a big improvement in that area, because if we're looking at everything that we can look at, there shouldn't be any excuse for us to call back the customer and give him either a status, give the customer a status update or anything of that nature. It is not fair for a customer to come in, bring their car in, use their time. We know that the car is important to you to get from point A to point B, so we should be able to do the very minimum and get the car diagnosed when we promised it, get the status update to the customer, and follow up with them and keep our promises. That isn't asking for too much. It's a valid complaint. We acknowledge that it's a complaint, and we have done a lot in the last few years to listen to what customers are saying, like yourself, and just do that.
Now, what about for those who don't have a Ford Lincoln vehicle? You know, what do you have to offer for those customers?
Okay, so at Antelope Valley Ford in Lincoln, we actually have a fleet shop for commercial businesses, diesel engine products. You know, for over the years, we have another shop that specializes in repair, and it's technicians that are, you know, specialized in transmission, or we call heavy line, which is motors. We have suspension, drivability. And so getting into that, we actually have a quick lane center also, where we have enough technicians that they're called lube technicians, and they deal in maintenance. The good news with maintenance is we can maintain any make and model. So if you're driving an import, a domestic, it really doesn't matter. Any make and model, we can do the basic maintenance and service through our facility here. So if we sell an off-brand car, well, we can take care of that service here too.
Good to know. That's all I have for you today.
All right.
Thank you so much. Viewers, please, if you have any questions, I'd love to ask this gentleman right here. Thank you guys. Back to the studio.